When Paul and I began planning our 2013 stewardship campaign, we knew we had a tremendous opportunity. We are completing 2 capital campaigns, and overall 6-year giving totals at this church have been extraordinary. Sure, our annual campaigns have been lagging the past few years, but overall giving, when you consider special giving and the campaigns, is significantly up.
We knew that coming off the campaigns created an opportunity to ask our fellow congregation members to maintain or at least consider increasing their annual gifts to provide the financial lift Northminster needs. We focused our efforts on generosity and gratitude. We studied stewardship literature, and it became abundantly clear that the act of stewardship is more than just giving to a budget. It is faithfully supporting God's work through the treasures God has given us.
We also focus much of our discussion on principles of stewardship, and you can see those in the banner in the gathering space and also on posters around the church. One of them is stewardship is worship. Far from being merely an obligation, managing God's property is an every-minute opportunity to express our thanks to Him for His goodness, to affirm our dependence on God in everything, and to return His love for us as our own expression of love for Him.
The Bible message is clear. We're all stewards. To be a steward is a privilege. A faithful steward is a person who views this world as God's good creation and is grateful to be a part of it. One who knows that God cares for those whom God has made and is ready and willing to rule their lives. And one who trusts God to provide him or her with whatever is needed to be content. Faithful stewardship is a matter of becoming such a person and acting accordingly. He declares that this is good news because those who live as people who belong to God experience life that at its absolute best.
As our stewardship campaign began to take shape, really this past summer, one of our goals was to enjoy early success, or in other words, ask a small group to make their 2014 pledges early and to challenge them to increase over their 2013 giving level. And as Terry mentioned in her sermon, she did just that with session.
When Terry laid down this challenge to us, I approached it like I typically approach everything, which is very logically. See, I'm a scientist. I've worked my entire career in the engineering field, so I did what any good scientist or engineer would do, is I put together an Excel spreadsheet. First, I entered all my expenses, no, let me say that. Let me go back. Probably should say I entered my earnings, and then I entered my expenses. I figured in some of the new expenses, my 16-year-old son with his driver's license, and that exploding insurance bill, savings for college, etc. And what I came out with was a number. And I thought, before I send that off to Terry, I need to think about it and pray about it. So I looked at all the blessings in my life, my 3 wonderful kids, my beautiful wife, all the things that we have, all the things that this church has meant to us in terms of blessings, providing just a wonderful outreach opportunities and the love and friendship that we have. When I looked at all that, I realized what I really calculated was the leftovers in my life. And after more prayer, I decided that I was capable of so much more, my family was capable of so much more than just providing leftovers.
We had the same discussion in our family. We aren't scientists, so we didn't open Excel. We just kind of threw it against the wall and figured out what we were going to do, and we talked a lot about it and debated and chit-chatted. We knew our campaign gifts were coming to an end this December, and that we knew we had Terry's challenge out there. So how do we meet that challenge? What could we do? What should we do to increase our giving level? I guess our discussion focused not on maintaining. We knew we certainly were going to increase, but by how much? We did stretch ourselves significantly on the second campaign, so we thought, what should we do for the 2014 stewardship campaign? And as we debated numbers, I began to think about the blessings that I have enjoyed personally in the church and my family's enjoyed in the church, and that made me review my giving. I thought about the trip to Africa I was privileged to make. I saw God working His will in Kenya, and I realized, we could do more. I asked Shannon today, who sings with us in choirs, this is her 36th year of singing in the Northminster choir, and I thought, what a blessing that is, a blessing of faithfulness. and a service to our church. And I think about Shannon, and I think, I certainly can do more. I had the privilege of working with Donna Schmall on the second campaign. She reminded me of the value, and she still reminds me of the value of service and selfless giving. Working with her was one of the highlights of the campaign for me. When I think about Donna and the work she does, I think I can certainly do more. I thought about the blessings of my wife, who reminds me that we need to talk about giving more openly here at Northminster and in our own lives. We are very blessed by extraordinary giving the past 6 years here. When one considers our annual campaigns of the two 3-year capital campaigns, giving is up. We are blessed, folks. We are really blessed. Stewardship starts with the blessings God has bestowed on us, the blessings many of you have added to our flow of blessings at the font, coming from the font this morning.
So when Terry mentioned that she challenged this session and the increase was 60%, I like to use real numbers. In 2013, the 15 session members collectively gave $58,570. The 2014 pledge was over $90,000.
We encourage all of you to prayerfully consider your participation now in supporting the 2014 budget. Many of us are completing our second 3-year gift to the capital campaign. So you might ask, as Terry asked us in her pastoral pondering in October, how much have you managed to contribute to the capital campaigns each year? Reduce that figure by the amount you came up with from one-time sources. Now add that figure to your 2013 pledge, and then ask yourself the following questions. Is this a faithful response to God's blessing to me for my 2014 pledge? Having supported the bricks and mortar, am I now willing to invest in expanding mission and ministry here at Northminster? Am I willing to increase my participation in sharing the good news and reaching out to the community in new and creative ways? Am I willing to give this amount so my life and the lives of others can be forever changed?
We do not give because the church needs money. We give because of the blessings which have flowed to us from God's hand over the years. We give because we believe God's grace is to be shared, and we give because we have received so much. Certainly Andy and I have. As we enter the season of Thanksgiving, we invite you to prayerfully consider all you have received from God. Consider your blessings and what you will return to continue God's work here at Northminster Presbyterian Church.
God's gift to us is grace. Our right response is gratitude.
Praise God, from whom all blessings flow.